Welcome to the Real Female Entrepreneurs. Today's guest is bringing a powerful mix of insight, confidence, and truth telling to the conversation. With more than 25 years navigating complex workplace cultures, from trading floors to political corridors. Oh my God, she has me already tired. All right. She has seen firsthand how careers are built, challenged, and totally transformed. She's a lawyer, author, commentator, that has to be fun, and a trusted voice on workplace behavior, power dynamics, and career confidence. Known for her sharp wit and refreshingly honest perspective, she helps people stop second guessing themselves and start owning their value. Hold on to your seat because we're here to give a warm, happy, brilliant welcome to Natalie Abou-Alwan. Welcome, Natalie.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God, this is going to be fun. So I love the fact that you're witty and a little sharp, and gonna like tell it like it is.
Yes.
A lawyer for how long? This is okay. I don't want you to tell your age, but just how long have you been a lawyer?
Uh, just over 25 years, so quite a while, and I've seen quite a few things.
Wow. And trading on the floor as well. Explain that.
Yeah, I was most of my career I've sat on, I describe it as male, testosterone fueled trading floors, but I actually loved it. So I think you either sink or you swim. But it's a very colorful place to be. Let's put it that way. Colorful characters, and it's actually how I learned to think on my feet very quickly.
Okay. Now, okay, let's talk about thinking on your feet quickly because a lot of women don't have that. And do you mind just giving us a tip about thinking on your feet?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have a tip as such, but I think you're right about women are very careful in general, and female lawyers tend to be double careful because obviously every word you say matters. So you kind of really think 10 steps ahead as you're speaking. When you're on a trading floor, that goes out of the window because, frankly, time is money. And so one of the best bits of advice actually I ever received from somebody very early on was traders smell fear. And that is absolutely the case. So you had to be on that floor. If you're approached by a trader, you had to really show that you knew what you were talking about. Sometimes even if you didn't really know. And so a lot of it is this kind of fake it till you make it. And having the guts to say, look, I don't know the answer. I don't know now. I'm going to go and find out and come back to you as soon as I can. And traders, appreciate and respect that kind of honesty more than someone BSing them, frankly, on the floor, because that can cost a lot of money. You can have criminal penalties. So I think a lot of it boils down to, if I had a tip, just to have some confidence in saying, I don't know. I don't know the answer, but I'll come back. I'll find out and I'll come back to you.
So that fiery confidence and wit about you, it made it. That made it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I enjoyed it. I think you have to enjoy it. A lot of people don't, it's for a type of person, a trading floor. And, you either survive it or you leave pretty quickly. And I was on trading floors for many, many years. So you have to enjoy it because the pace is really fast.
Fast pace. I like that. I like that. Thinking on your feet, being quick. I love that because that is something that we all have to do, especially as entrepreneurs. And sometimes we don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
really good. All right. What sparked you, though, to become the entrepreneur you are?
Well, I have, talking of trading floors, I have always been a keen observer of corporate behaviors, let's put it that way. And frankly, I learned a lot more about bad behaviors, not on a trading floor, which is where people would assume that's where I've learned it all from, or watched it all, I wouldn't say learned it. But really in law firms, lawyers don't always behave well. and, I turned up as a trainee lawyer at the age of whatever I was, 24, 20, 23. And I was so green and so fresh. And a lot of things that were going on in the firm I happened to be at were quite shocking. And actually, to be fair, I haven't seen levels of interesting behaviors like that so much since. But I think I was thrown in the deep end. Good behaviors, but a lot more questionable behaviors. So I think
Wow.
all of that made me think, I actually want to put this down into a book that is entertaining, that's fun, but actually should have some practical tips as well. So I go through things like queen bee syndrome, when you're dealing with a female boss who basically doesn't like other women. And I hear that happens a lot more than people like to talk about. I talk about men who actually help women in the workplace, but I also, in this book, How to Navigate Your Career Like a Legend. It's called a legend, not because I think I am one, far from it, but because I interweave stories from legendary figures that I think are inspiring. So whether it's Marilyn Monroe helping Ella Fitzgerald in her career, Judy Garland, Frank Sinatra, Elvis Presley, Quincy Jones, just to kind of illustrate that some of these inspiring stories can actually be applied to the workplace, and how these amazing legends got through it. And were respected for what they were doing. And this sort of feeling for people that you're not alone. We've all been through toxic cultural environments, tough bosses, mean women, nice women, mean men, nice men, and there's a way of navigating them.
Oh my God, you just spoke to my heart when you said Marilyn Monroe and Ella Fitzgerald. It was a relationship that should not have happened way back when.
Exactly. And segregation was still rife at the time. And even Ella Fitzgerald said, Marilyn Monroe did me a massive favor, and she was so ahead of her time, and she didn't really even know it. And actually, it's quite apt we talk about her, because it's 100 years since her birth in 1926. And I've just been to the National Portrait Gallery here in London, and they have the most beautiful exhibition on Marilyn Monroe. Really respectfully done. It's just wonderful. So if any of your listeners are in London, it's on till the 4th of September.
Oh, wow. Yeah, definitely. You guys go. So, Amy, let's reverse that as well. Let's do that. So, segregation was still around. Let's look at the fact that Ella, as well, helped Marilyn as well. They both helped each other. Marilyn is just more public because she actually brought the news into the events and everything. So, yeah, they actually supported each other like best friends. Like there was
Yeah.
no tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are so many lovely pictures of them. Some where Marilyn is very well, made up, but others where she's very natural looking. She's gone to see her, I think, backstage. And it's just such a beautiful example of, when the sisterhood works. And so that's kind of the antidote story to the queen bee syndrome, and I've experienced it several times in my career, where these women just don't like other women in their arena. And they make your life very, very difficult. And I started off thinking, my God, it's me. There's something I've done. I must be a terrible lawyer. I must be this. I must be that. No, it's got nothing to do with you. And you realize that when you watch how they behave with other women as well, and how they behave very differently with men. And so I wanted to put all of that into a book, just to, entertain people, but also make them realize, actually, this is something that I can get through, and it's not me, just to make them feel better, I suppose.
Yeah. And so before we get to the book title again, I want to actually talk also about, you mentioned the male helping the female as well,
Yeah.
and how that interacted. I love that as well, because that has happened throughout time. And, sometimes people misconstrued it as, oh, it's a relationship or whatever, So,
Yeah. You get all of that sort of negative stuff flung at you, or so and so fancied you, or and actually the example I use in the book is Elvis Presley, and how he stood up for his backing singers of color. So, as I'm sure you know, one of his backing singers in the Sweet Inspirations group was Whitney Houston's mother, Cissy Houston.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and she had the strongest voice and the loudest voice. You can hear Cissy Houston above the rest of the group, but they were backing singers for the likes of Aretha Franklin and some other artists around that time. But he adored them. And there were so many situations where they faced prejudice. And he really supported them and basically said, if you boo my girls, I'm off. I'm walking. I'm off this stage. But the story I could use so many about Elvis and about Marilyn, but the one I use in the book is basically where they first meet him when he's starting his career in Las Vegas. And they sort of said, we just immediately wanted to call him boss because he was our boss. But he just said no. And he wasn't having any of that hierarchy. He said, I'm not your boss, I'm your brother. And he really, walked the talk. He really treated them like, a member of his family. And they, whenever you hear them interviewed, they speak so warmly about Elvis. And, he catapulted them. So, there are some great examples of men, and I thought it was important to include that in the book as well.
It also seems like you love music.
I love music. I love acting. I love movies. I love the whole shebang.
I can tell. Do you have a background in theater or singing yourself or dancing?
No, funnily enough, my mother was an actress and told me not to go into it when I was 15, but that's actually what I would have wanted to have done. But she said, look, law is, a bit like acting, which is kind of true, especially if you're a barrister and you're in court. But in a way, you've identified my nerdy side, because this was kind of also an excuse for me to use these stories that I know and I love and share them, because not many people know how wonderful these legends are. Again, you hear all the negatives. Oh, they were drug abusers, they were this, they were that. They were just human beings, who were just thrown into the limelight and had a lot of pressures on them.
They did. Oh my word, you just named it. They just had a lot of pressure on them. So understand, even as an entrepreneur, as you grow, those pressures are going to be placed on you as well. 100%.
Exactly. And that's kind of the excitement, there's an excitement to it, but there's a resilience, which I talk about in the book. That's really, and I don't know how you feel about that, but for me, that's really what can help support and drive you, as you grow and you learn new things and you cope with things on your own.
Yeah, 100%, Natalie, I agree with you. And it's so much of what female entrepreneurs and people as a whole in the workplace, it doesn't matter where they're at, they need to understand that resilience is key. And can it eat you alive if you don't have resilience? 100%.
Yeah. And I think that's important, not just for your career, but also in life, and when I talk to, students who are just about to go to university or graduates, and I say to them, if you haven't taken away anything I've just talked to you about now, the one thing I want you to remember is that you need to keep building your confidence and your resilience, because life is sure to throw you things that you wouldn't even imagine. And you have to be able to stand up for yourself, but also to cope. And each experience just makes you stronger, Yes, we all have bad times. We all have times when we're knocked personally or professionally, but it's the keeping going. That's what just builds this up for you. And I wish somebody had told me that when I was 18, frankly.
Yeah. Confidence and resilience keeps you going. I love that. That is like our mantra for you right now. I love it. All righty. What is the name of the book again?
It's called How to Navigate Your Career Like a Legend. It's a long title. It's not a long book, but it's 12 chapters that basically are, the idea is you can dip in, dip out of it. There's dedicated journaling pages as well. So it's like a living and breathing guide, if you like. And what I think makes this also unique is that you're talking about, am I into, I'm into music, etc. But I actually illustrate each chapter with my own ink on paper illustrations. Again, that's my nerdy side coming out. So
You're an artist as well.
I do quite a bit of art on the side because I enjoy it. And actually, I find it in a way a kind of meditative, it's quite a mindful exercise for me to just sit down and see what comes up. So I've illustrated each chapter. Some of them is tongue in cheek. I mean, I can show you one here is Freddie Mercury.
I love it.
lassoing some nasty people in a work environment. So, you know, I've made some of them tongue in cheek.
They're cute. I like that. I like that. So you already said something about your 18-year-old self, but if you were to write a letter to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell her?
Oh, stay strong and listen to yourself. Trust yourself is, I think, the key. And at 18, I actually thought I knew everything. I thought, you know, there's not much more about people. I was at a boarding school in the UK from the age of 11. I thought, yeah, I can handle anything. And at 19, my father passed away from lung cancer. He was only 49 years old. And that really hit me, hit our family. And it was just a very quick, you know, from diagnosis to him passing was within a year. And I think it knocked me quite a lot. And so, you know, when I'm talking about the resilience side, I think, you know, we know that life doesn't just go along like that. You know, you're going to have lumps and bumps, you're going to have great times, and that also comes with difficult times. But it's being able to just carry yourself through those that's really important. So I think, yeah, I would just say to myself, stay strong and trust yourself.
I love that. All right, being in business, what is a game changer that you've seen, maybe a decision, a habit, or strategy that actually took somebody's business from here to up here?
Well, it's something I actually I did myself. I joined one of the oil majors as a lawyer, and there was a business that was failing, and I was very quick to spot it and to spot the reasons why it was failing and to actually take action quickly. And I think the problem is people don't act on things quick enough. So when you spot something and you have the confidence again to go, right, this is what needs changing, but being able to bring people alongside with you early on is vital, because you lose a lot of, you know, a lot of the committee meetings and the admin and the, you know, meeting upon meeting just kills motivation, and it kills potential in business, I think, as well. And so being able to have that agility to just make a decision can really save a business. So I've seen that, you know, firsthand from what I've done, and looking at other people around me. It's those ones who can be very categorical and go, look, I know, you know, we have option 1, 2, 3, but this is the one we need to go for, and just acting on it. Now, I guess it goes back to the trading. Time is money.
Yeah. Ooh, time is money. Thank you for bringing that up. Nobody wants to talk about that, but time is money.
Yes.
Yeah. I got asked the other day, actually this morning, I've been like really analyzing how you actually work and how you get as much done as you do. And she said, you don't talk about it, you just do it. I went, oh, she's right.
It's very true. And, you know, I was sitting exams when I was 18, you know, we call them A levels here in the UK. And I will never forget, one of my very good friends at school said to me, Natalie, stop talking about all the revision you have to do, just do it. And I thought, yeah, that's right. You know, I'm banging on here for a good hour or so, just going on about all the stuff I need to do when I could have done it, you know, so just get on and do it, I guess.
She says, I've seen you. You make a list and that's it. Done. Once the list is done, you just like attack one thing after another and do it until it, or delegate it. I mean,
Yeah,
you do one or the other, guys.
exactly. And they say you should tackle the hardest thing first, which isn't always easy, but it's the way to do it, apparently.
Yeah. Then I procrastinate just a
Yeah.
little.
Another coffee, yeah.
Yeah. Another coffee, another tea, another something.
Exactly.
All right. So, what about, let's talk about no filter confession here of something that you see entrepreneurs or business owners doing, all right, that you wish they would kick to the curb, especially women in their thought patterns.
Well, this kind of goes a little bit to Queen Bee syndrome, but I think one of the reasons that you have nasty female bosses, when they do appear, is it's a massive insecurity in them. And whether that's because they feel they are operating in a male environment, or let's face it, an environment where, up until fairly recently, it's been a man's world, that they have to put on this sort of suit of armor to be tough, that they think they have to put on this masculine side to be taken seriously, to lose some of their femininity, their softness. I've seen that happen a few times, and actually it just leads to bad feeling for the people that work around, for the women that work around you. I don't think the men notice, frankly. So I've seen that happen, and I think it's really, it boils down to feeling that somehow you're not meant to be there, and that you're trying to state, your own territory is what you're trying to create there. And you can do that in a good way, but I've seen it done several times in a very negative way. And that just gives you a bad reputation, frankly.
It does. It does. Thank you for that and that honesty, because that is true.
I was going to say pissing on your territory, but I'm not sure if we can say
that. Yes, you can say that here.
I hesitated because I thought, I don't know, maybe I should be very polite, but that's kind of what I'm getting to.
No, it's what it is.
Yeah.
And we're really honest here. We want to hear the truth, and that's it. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about life and balance. Is it feasible? If it is feasible, do you juggle it, or is it a beautiful chaos, or do you just go, oh my God, it is what it is?
I think if you're lucky enough to have a bit of space, whether that's voluntarily or involuntarily created in your career, where you can actually stop and take a deep breath and think about all the things you've done and where you've got to, and actually look outside the window and go, my God, there are birds out there. There are leaves growing. It's windy. The sun's shining. Actually literally stop and appreciate the everyday things in life that become just, you're on, well, I was anyway, automatic pilot on the hamster wheel. You don't really give yourself the time to stop and enjoy things, or you're enjoying the wrong things, that are quick stress releases. I think that has been a real lesson for me in the last few years, to actually go, oh my God, I totally took this for granted, or I took that person for granted, or that friendship for granted, or, the fact that I'm sitting here and enjoying a really lovely hot coffee this morning, or, whatever it is for you, or that beautiful piece of music that I just don't stop to think about, or reading a really good book. I don't think we give ourselves enough, because we're always on, there's always something else to be doing. You're talking about lists, we're always constantly creating lists of what we need to do, what we didn't achieve today. And I think actually your brain and your energy levels don't work optimally when you do that. You have to have, and I'm saying this because I've only realized this myself recently, you have to allow yourself that space to be calm, to breathe, and to just be there in the moment. You don't need to be anywhere. You don't need to be talking to anyone. Just be there and be with yourself. And I think a lot of people don't like sitting with their own thoughts. I was one of them, but you have to learn to be able to do that, because that's how you get to know yourself. And it goes again back to the resilience point, once you know what your boundaries are, once you know what your values are, you start, if you like, navigating your own life in a very different way, and a happier way, I think.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Sitting by yourself. Do you meditate?
I've learned to, I do it every morning for about only 5 minutes, but it's sort of breath work. And I find that very helpful. And I can tell when I haven't done that.
Wow.
How about you?
I have started, I have stopped, I have started.
Yeah.
So I will start and stay at some point.
Yeah. It's training. It's training, isn't it? It's like making it a habit.
Yeah. Now, me going to a dance class is a habit. Okay. But Yeah, but I think your philosophy of 5 minutes right when you wake up
Yeah.
might be my key.
Well, and I think things like, dancing for me, as I was saying, drawing, for some people it's writing, for some people it's sport, whatever brings you joy, where you just zone out. I practice ballet, 3 hours a week if I can. And
Oh,
just,
you dance.
huh?
You're a
Well,
dancer.
I enjoy it. I enjoy
You
it.
do
That's my
too.
form of exercise, right?
Right.
And and you have to switch off because you're concentrating on the position of your body. Is your muscle in this place? Is your carcass in the right place? What is the next step? It forces you to switch off, and for me, that is a form of meditation as well. So you don't have to sort of sit and you can do whatever it is that totally takes your mind off everything else. I think that's really, really important, and I don't think we do it enough.
Yeah, that definitely ballet takes my brain and just clears all the fog out because of that structure and discipline
Yeah,
of the body,
yeah.
and yeah.
And feeling your body, actually being in your body, not just in your head. That was a lesson for me, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. Oh my god, we're like sisters from another mother with red hair.
Exactly, yeah.
Alrighty. So let's talk about a woman who's on the edge. She's thinking, I really want to start this business, but I just don't have the confidence to. What would you tell her?
If not now, when? If not you, who? It goes back to that, classic quote. I don't even know where that quote was from, but we hear it time and again, and it's so true. The one thing you don't want to have is regrets. And I think you just need to bite the bullet, because ultimately, what's the worst that can happen? And at least you then tried. And I'm assuming people in business, if you do want to suddenly set up on your own, you've already conditioned yourself and trained yourself in the environments you've been in to think logically, to think about finance, to think, okay, can I do this financially? Because of course that's an important consideration. Do I have the right funding for this? How sustainable is this? But you've got to just try, because eventually, if it doesn't work, then you can always go back to what you were doing, or a form of what you were doing. But if you never try, you'll never know.
All right, let's take the same question a little different, that's okay. A woman who's been in business for a while, 5, 10, 15, 20, even 30 years, and she's at her wit's end right now and ready to throw in the towel. I guess that resilience is just about wrung out. What do you suggest to her?
Take some time out for yourself, whether it's a long weekend, ideally a holiday, and just relax, because burnout is stress. It's not about the hours you're doing. It's about the pressure and the stress levels, and whether you're enjoying your environment or not. And I think it's crucial. You have to take that time out and have a really serious think about the things that are making you unhappy in your work, and how you can change it. And if you can't change it, you need to, again, step out of your comfort zone and go, right, I'm looking at other opportunities, because that's when you really understand your value in the market as well. Mm-hmm. And just changing your environment. In fact, I'm mentoring somebody at the moment who's doing exactly that. She's feeling a bit underconfident about taking that leap. And actually, I know she's going to do it, and I know she'll do very well. She just needs that confidence, to go, okay, I'm ready. I can do this. I can take the next level up, or whatever it is. So, but you need to have that, as we were talking about, quiet time, to be very honest with yourself.
I love the fact you said that. I'm going to bring up something that an 80-something-year-old woman taught me on here. We have the pros and con list. She does it a little different. So she says, if this happened, can I live with it? And she takes the worst case scenario, and if she can live with it no matter what, she goes for it. Or does she have to tweak it? Because you said Go ahead.
No, I'm saying that's amazing. That's a really good way to do it as well.
Well, it's the same thing. I thought about it because she says, "Go away." And so that go away and think by yourself with nobody else around is just the key, and it gives that clarity. Don't you agree?
It gives clarity and it allows your brain to relax, to disconnect just for a while, especially when you have finite time to do it. And just to allow yourself that luxury. I think, again, we don't let ourselves, especially women, we're constantly juggling tons of things, to actually stop and go, right, what do I need? What are my needs here? And not feel guilty about it. Women are generally busy looking after other people in their lives. And to actually stop and go, okay, this is also my life. And what do I want to be doing? And if this place is not making me happy, I'm at my wit's end, as you were saying, how can I take the control back?
Yep. All right, let's dive into you and a sneak peek into your future. What else can we keep an eye out for you?
Well, I have potentially 2/3 of a second book that I'm actually looking to potentially publish in the US. So my first one is published in the UK, but I'm looking at the US because I've had quite a bit of pickup on this side of the pond and on your side of the pond as well. So yeah, I'm looking at that. And yeah, I mean, you can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, the usual places.
Okay.
To follow
so another book possibly soon.
Potentially, yeah. I've done the illustrations too. So I'm just trying to think about what I want to do with that material.
All right, now we're getting to the fun part of my life. You ready?
I'm ready.
What is something unexpected that you can tell us about yourself that you did that our audience would go, she did what?
Oh, well, I was probably about 16, and I was the first female drummer in a nightclub in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates. My sister plays the guitar and sings, and we got up on a jam session one night at this nightclub, and I was on the drums, and they awarded me, I don't know, some T-shirt or something to say, "Oh my God, we've never had a female drummer in this club." So that's my claim to fame. Nothing more exciting than that.
No, that is fun. So wait, you're an artist, you're musically inclined. Come on, I'm just finding out the nerd stuff here. You do dance. I mean, you dance. Yeah, I get it.
The nerd stuff is in the book, I think. Yeah.
All right, let's pump up some volume with the music. Do you have a song or songs that you love? Obviously, I know you do.
Oh, I have loads of songs and loads of different artists from classical to modern day. But if I had to pick one song, it would be Bridge Over Troubled Water, but not the Simon and Garfunkel version. It's not going to surprise you if I say Elvis Presley's arrangement of it, with his backing singers from Sweet Inspirations. To me, it's one of the most beautiful arrangements of that song. And I believe Paul Simon said when he heard Elvis sing it, he thought, it's going to be hard for me to sing that one after this. So yeah. And I love the message in it as well.
Okay, now I'm going to have to go listen to the Elvis version. I've probably heard it, but I just don't remember it.
Listen to it again, yeah.
All right, a book or books that you love. The name of your book again is what?
My book is How to Navigate Your Career Like a Legend.
Okay, another book or books that you love.
I mean, I'm going to be a bit cliched, but it is Wuthering Heights, because I studied it when I was 18. And I know the movie's come out, and I actually haven't seen it because I don't want to. Basically, I think it will ruin, the way I've created the images of the characters in my head. But yeah, be Wuthering Heights.
So, quote or words to live by?
I really like a quote that I've actually put in my book. It's by Eleanor Roosevelt, and she said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent."
Very good.
That's a good lesson to live by.
Even that queen bee.
particularly for the queen bee.
Yep. All right. Superpower for just 24 hours. A magic wand comes down and gives it to you. You have it. What would it be?
I would like to say two things. One is that you can just bring back a loved one, just for a last conversation. If I wasn't able to do that, it would be just injecting some positivity when people are feeling negative.
Well, I just lost my mother this past month, so you
Oh, I'm
just like really hit a nerve. So that would be amazing.
yeah. Wouldn't that be
Yeah,
amazing to be able to
that
do that?
would.
Oh,
Yep.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh no, it's fine. Thank you, though. That would be sweet. All right. If you believe in motivation on demand, what would it be?
Motivational demand.
If you had motivation on demand, again, another magic wand, you could be motivated. If you believe in it, you might not believe in it, but if you believe in it, what would you do? What would happen?
Oh God, I think I would like to even out, the very rich and the very poor, because there are so many people in this world who have a lot of money, and I don't necessarily think they always do the right thing with it. And there are so many people who are so in want of money, and it's so much in need, and yet ironically they tend to be happier people.
Wow, they are. They are. All right. What is the best way for our audience to stay connected with you?
So you can follow me on Instagram. My handle is Natalie Abou-Alwan author, where you can, if you want to know more about the book or see the book journey, and LinkedIn. I'm on there too.
It's amazing. So a mic drop a mic drop moment for our audience. Do you mind giving them one before we leave?
Value yourself.
Mhm. Yep. That's amazing. All right,
Because
Natalie.
other things come from that.
It does. Everything does come from that. It
Yeah.
does. All right, Natalie, thanks for being with us. Oh my God, you've been amazing. I loved having you.
I've really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Female Entrepreneurs Magazine. I hope you found inspiration, actionable tips, and a sense of connection with our incredible community of driven women. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and share the episode with fellow entrepreneurs who are ready to elevate their game. Remember, your success is just the beginning, and we're here to support you in every step of the way. Until next time, keep shining, keep thriving, and remember, you have the power to create the business and life of your dreams. Stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.